Hi guys, in this video I'm going to address what Muslims label as Fitrah, the built-in belief gods exist. And this is supposed to enable them to say all humans are born as Muslims. And I will show here what they usually base this on and then demonstrate using a scientific study that this is false. Now, Fitrah is the built-in disposition towards the Islamic God. Now, Islam is mainly a political ideology, so the God, the religious side determining everything else, is relatively weak and leads to the obvious inferiority complex we see in Muslims. And that's why they constantly look for confirmation for their beliefs within the non-believers. The confirmation for the concept of Fitrah is one such example. Since Muslims are not good at research and scientific studies, they turn to Christians, to Christian apologists, to deliver some sort of confirmation that there is really, actually, truly a built-in belief of gods in children, which is what Islamic secondary texts say. No child is born except on the Fitrah, and then his parents make him Jewish, and so on and so on. And please note that this concept is not mentioned in the Quran at all. This is the primary source in Islam. This is all found in the Sunnah. So then if people with a PhD then deliver what they like, these people are applauded regardless of how stupid their utterings are. One such person is Dr. Justin Barrett and another a Dr. Petrovich. And they are such PhD holders, and they make claims which Christians as well as Muslims like. This Dr. Barrett has spent his life, and many millions by the way, on finding his favorite God. He's tried for decades to show that children grow up with this God belief, mentions scientific studies, but without ever showing one, or scientific research without ever providing any kind of verifiable data. Now, he used to work for the Oxford, for some group there, but by now he is working for the Fuller Seminary, which is like a madrasa for grown-ups. And Dr. Petrovich claims that atheism, well, what she probably thinks is the act of non-believing, is something we need to learn. And also cites research she never provides, and studies she never supplies. She constantly mentions a book, she's done so for years, which she will write one day, but without revealing what data this will be based on. So it'll probably be similar to the books of Dr. Barrett, just based on wishful thinking. Looking at reality, I obviously miss this God gene directing kids to a uniform God. Because like languages, gods and goddesses are based on, parents, the region they live in, and culture. There are entire tribes who don't even have a word for a god in their entire language and don't believe in any gods. And I myself have always found religions hilarious. Well, as a kid anyway. So this entire idea of having a predisposition and built-in God belief is pretty ridiculous. And in the meantime, a team of scientists from the University of Boston have set up an international team and have delivered a real scientific study, providing the methodology, the definitions, the data, the assumptions, the procedures, the approach, and then of course the findings. And the study named Judgments About Fact and Fiction by Children from Religious and Non-Religious Backgrounds showed that from the two groups they studied, the religiously indoctrinated group was more inclined to mix fact with fiction, and the non-religiously motivated group could clearly identify religious stories as fictional. They found that the kids were based in a critical assessment mode, which the religious group had abandoned. And it demonstrates that Barrett and his ideas are wrong, and that kids with religious affiliations and indoctrination even have problems identifying what is fact and what is fiction. And the unindoctrinated kids, as it were, revert to skepticism and rational thinking when confronted with biblical stories and fairy tales. So this shows that children do not grow up believing in gods automatically, but believe what they are taught, as children tend to do. So there's no confirmation or scientific evidence for the claimed built-in God belief in kids, but there is scientific evidence that this does not exist. So in conclusion, the claim that Fitrah is a correct assumption or that there is an innate God belief is therefore false. Thanks for your time.